There are a ton of options to choose from if you're currently out looking for the best stocks and shares ISA account here in the UK. There are literally dozens to choose from, and while they all offer the same type of account, the way they offer it to you can differ massively, especially when it comes to the costs that are involved. And in the long run, if you make the wrong choice, you could end up costing yourself a hell of a lot of money. I've scoured the UK market to look at some of the cheapest and best stocks and shares ISA accounts available, which should save you a lot of time and hassle. I've also found options that have no account charges whatsoever, but you'll still need to do all your own research to decide what's best for you. Let's dive in. Firstly, let's just break down what our options are, because not all the providers are created equal. Broadly, this space is broken down into two different categories. Now, you've got your DIY platforms and then you've got your managed platforms. The DIY platforms are there for people who know what they want to invest in and are happy to manage things for themselves. For example, you just want to invest in a low-cost index fund ETF, invest every single month and leave things alone. Or you might want to have a portfolio of different stocks, some funds, and some ETFs too. Basically, if you kind of know what you're doing, understand some of the key points, then this one will probably be for you. On the other hand, the managed platforms are there for those people who just want to put money away maybe every month, start building some wealth and get their cash working for them, but have literally zero interest in understanding what funds are, what the stock market is, asset allocation, bonds, etc. And you'll sometimes hear these platforms referred to as robo-advisors, and they include platforms like Nutmeg, Wealthify, and Moneybox. Now, these platforms will normally ask you a few questions before you start investing, ask about how adventurous you are, which is nothing to do with your holiday activities, more to do with the amount of risk you're willing to take, and then create you a portfolio that matches up to that profile. This portfolio will probably contain a few different funds, bonds, and even exposure to commodities like gold. This portfolio will then all be managed for you, so you can focus on more important things in life and just spend time on making more money to get invested. The biggest difference between the two types of platform is the costs and charges associated with them. So as you might guess, if you want your investments to be managed for that, then you'll have to pay a bit more for that privilege. Whereas if you are happy to manage things yourself, then you can make some savings and definitely create an investment portfolio that's customized completely to your own needs. You'll spend a few hours working out what you want to invest in every month. You might make changes frequently, or you might rebalance between different assets, but it will all be up to you to figure those things out. With the managed providers, there's definitely less choice and less to choose from in the market. Now, as mentioned before, the leaders in this space are people like Nutmeg, Wealthify, and Moneybox. Now, out of the three, Nutmeg have been around for the longest, and we're the first to market with this whole digital first offering. In terms of fees and which platform is going to be the cheapest, they are all broadly pretty much the same. You'll have some kind of platform fee, which is charged as a percentage or a fixed fee, and then you'll have the cost of the different funds you'll be invested in, which can range from anything from 0.07% to over 0.5%. Let's run through an example if we were to invest, say, £1,000 into these different platforms. With Nutmeg, things can actually get more complicated. You've got more than one option for your ISA. You can let them actually manage it fully, have a fixed allocation, or a couple of more options, which includes socially responsible investing. Personally, I think that's too many options for the average person who is already bewildered by investing as it is. Anyway, let's say this £1,000 gets invested into a fully managed portfolio. The account fee for this is 0.75%. And then the other fees are charges depending on the fund we invested in. That means that each year, if our investment stayed at £1,000 to keep things simple, we'll be charged £7.50. So that's about 62p a month. Doesn't sound like very much at all, but then you'd also need to factor in the cost of your chosen investment too, likely to be another 0.2%. So once you've got a pot of nearly £10,000, you're now looking at about £75 per year to manage it. So now we're talking about £6.25 per month. Wealthify is very similar at 0.6% account fee, and then Moneybox is 0.45%, but then they also add another £1 a month, which is actually a fixed fee. Overall then, they are all very similar in the way they charge. Don't forget, one of the most important factors will be based on which funds you actually choose. Look out for their ongoing costs, or TER for short. This stands for total expense ratio, and it's taken out of your investment value over the course of the year without you needing to pay anything. Your account fee and your fund fee gets you that total cost. Keep these under control as much as possible. It's one of the only things you can control in the wild west of the stock market. So in this category, they're all pretty much going to be the same. Choose who you like the look of. They are all regulated by the FCA and safe to invest with. Remember that fees add up over time. A few pounds a year might not sound much, but once you're being charged nearly 1% in total for 10 to 20 years, as your investment pot hopefully grows, this can turn into many thousands. Now onto the DIY platforms, of which there are a lot more to choose from, and this is where things get really interesting, and where I found a platform with zero account fees. If you're able to manage your own investments, which sounds a lot harder than it is, you can make a lot of savings here and really drive down your ongoing costs. If you're interested in learning more about investing, please feel free to check out my channel for beginner's guides. Also, if you're finding this video useful, please drop me a like and comment below. It really helps. There are dozens of stocks and shares ISA options available to you, but let me just pick and choose a few which are not only the cheapest, but also trusted too. And it's not all just about cost. Now, I don't know about you, but I wouldn't be investing my money anywhere, and I'm sure you feel the same as well. Broadly speaking then, you've got one more decision to make once you've decided that you want to invest in a DIY platform. Do you want to buy individual shares, or are you happy with just using funds and ETFs? If you do want to trade individual shares, then you do reduce your options down slightly, so bear this in mind, but I'll cover that off the cheapest way to do that as well too. Let's start with providers who offer just a selection of funds, and this is where I'm also going to let you know about a provider that has no account fees at all in just a second. Firstly though, one of the absolute cheapest and best stocks and shares ISAs is provided by Vanguard. There shouldn't be any surprises here at all based on the fact that Vanguard constantly talks about how cheap they are compared to their competition. In terms of fees, you're looking at an overall account fee of 0.15% and then the cost of your chosen fund on top of this, making it one of the most competitive platforms here in the UK. I personally hold a stocks and shares ISA here, and I will likely continue to keep this invested over the very long term as I look to try and grow my own wealth. A fee of 0.15% means that if you have £1,000 invested, your account fee is just £1.50 for the year. Compare that to the managed providers who we were talking about earlier, and this is nearly 4 to 5 times cheaper than them. The account fee is also capped at £375 a year, so once you do cross that £25,000 mark in your account, you won't be hit by any more fees to manage your account. Now, the only downside of this platform is that this is for trading funds only. There's no individual companies here, and they don't have access to any funky smartphone app or anything like that. This is all done through your account on the website. But hey, if that's the trade-off for super low fees, then I think that's worth the sacrifice for now. Up next, as promised, here's an option for a stocks and shares ISA that has zero account fees, and if you're happy to manage your own investments. This is a newer player on the market, and they're looking to keep things super simple and really low cost. Invest Engine is the company we're talking about here. You can choose from a wide range of funds, pop them into your portfolio, invest every month, and you're pretty much away. Your only costs will be the ones associated with the actual funds themselves, but there's nothing else to pay at all. The only place where money is made on this platform is for those who want their investments to be managed for them, like we actually discussed earlier. Now, for this privilege, those individuals will need to pay 0.25%, which is pretty competitive and fair when we compare it to the rest of the market. Obviously, with any newer players, you always need to be really careful. Now, they're all regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority, so your funds are protected up to the maximum of £85,000, but like other fast-growing companies, they're currently not making a profit, and clearly they want to grow their business. With any trading and investing, there is no such thing as free. There's always going to be costs, but you might not be the one paying for it just yet. Anyway, take advantage if you want to while this is still the case. That's up to you. Now, what about stocks and shares ISAs for those of you who want to trade both funds and also dabble in some stock picking and do it all in one place? Well, there are still plenty of options for you, but you'll need to stump up a little bit more money in account fees to do this. My two top picks for you are firstly Hargreaves Lansdown. Now, hear me out here. I'm a customer here and I know that overall account fees can be pretty pricey, but if you are clever, it's not actually that bad. For a stocks and shares ISA, if you just trade shares and ETFs, your account fee is 0.5%, capped at £45 per year. So that's £3.75 per month maximum cost. And funds are charged differently, but I just say, why not find an ETF that does the same job if you can? You won't get much more comprehensive than the likes of Hargreaves Lansdown in the UK. They are the largest broker on the market, publicly traded, have great customer service too. If you want every kind of investment to choose from, then you can't go wrong in my opinion, and I do hold the majority of my own portfolio here. Trust is really important for me, especially when it comes to my own money. Another option here though, to keep things fair, would be Freetrade. As their name suggests, they allow you to trade stocks commission-free on their platform with a general trading account. So that's your normal taxable investing account, which means that you will need to be careful if you do start making any mega money above any allowances that you might have. Now, for a stocks and shares ISA on this platform, they offer a fixed fee option of £3 per month, which gives you access. Now, you'll have a wide selection of UK, US, and ETFs to choose from, but do note that if you want to trade any small cap stocks and get access to some more exclusive ETFs, you'll be best opting for Freetrade Plus, which will set you back £10 a month. So this might be a bit steep with most people with smaller accounts, but worth knowing what you're getting yourself into as it grows. Again, as I mentioned for Invest Engine earlier, I do want to highlight that like this company, Freetrade are also not profitable yet. They're a fast growing company with a huge number of customers, but their cash is coming from rounds of crowdfunding. I've got no doubt they'll be around for the long run, but it's another reminder that there are always costs in investing, which are not always obvious or shown to you. Finally, a quick mention on Trading 212, and this one is another one that has a completely free stocks and shares ISA, and is, to be fair, one of the first who offered this that I was aware of. But they're not accepting any new accounts for months now, and I know they might start accepting new accounts again this year in 2022, and they finally did submit their own company accounts to Companies House. Turns out they made a hell of a lot of money through CFD trading. But anyway, once they start getting up and running again, I know people love this platform and it does look good. I've never managed to personally get around to opening an account myself, but there is another free stocks and shares ISA for you. Final thoughts then? You need to decide if you want to manage it yourself or have it managed. That's your first decision. If you are a complete noob and have no desire to get into this strange world of investing, you might be better off just sticking with a managed platform like Nutmeg. But outside of that, if you are happy to manage your own, you've got loads of options. Free options are great, but just be aware that there are costs somewhere for the business and there are always downsides. Nobody has everything for everyone, but I think 99% of people will do really well with a platform like Vanguard, Invest Engine or Freetrade. Make the most of your stocks and shares ISA is my final thought. It's £20,000 per year tax-free that you can use to invest with. Over time, you could genuinely become a millionaire and not have to pay any tax on those gains. Every adult can open one too, so work with your wife, husband or partner or other half, whoever you're with, to make the most of both of yours between you. Forget cash ISAs and getting almost nothing in return on a bank account. Take action and make 2022 and beyond the year you start getting invested. Anyway, check out my other videos for all of your help with that one. Drop me a big fat like if you've enjoyed the video, subscribe for many, many more. I'll see you guys in the next one, and as always, happy investing.